Hey guys, how's it going? It's your boy Gazza9919 here, and what I've done is I have purchased a M Sport bumper for my BMW E46. Now before putting this bumper on, I'm going to be going through a few stages of, I wouldn't quite say restoration, but zhuzhing up, let's say. So it's in a bit of a rough state, but I'll show you the bumper anyway. So here it is. I paid £100 for this, which seems to be the sort of going rate, and for one in this state is not bad at all, as usually you'll find these having cracks in and things like that, and they'll still go for a similar sort of price. So obviously there's a few things that you can see are wrong with it immediately. So we've got a little scuff here and this scuff's underneath. This is the sort of thing where I'm just going to be attacking it with a bit of touch-up paint. Yes, I know it's not an ideal job, but it's less obvious than just exposed plastic. Also, I can see at some point in this car's life it looks like it's had a splitter attached to it, because there's some screw holes in the bottom, and yeah, it's had a bit of a rough life, but nevertheless there's no cracks in it and it's in one piece. The second thing I think I'm going to do is I'm going to remove these plastics and get this black, because this is something that's going to let it down, I think. So we're going to go through and sort of stage getting that sorted. And also, I'm quite sure, I think you can get some bits that go into these fog light holes here, and then potentially take off this trim around the edge and get that sprayed black as well. So really it's going to be off the car for a month, and that's going to give me time to have a bit of play about with it and try and get it looking a bit nicer than what it does. So before we go any further, I think the first thing we need to do is give this bumper a clean. So that's just had a quick wash. Looks a bit better. Obviously it's still not quite there with the scuffs. And now I'm just going to touch up these areas with this touch-up paint I got on eBay. This isn't perfect, don't get me wrong, and it's really going to be noticeable. But as I say, it's going to be less noticeable than something like that. So if we touch it up now, we can always take it off again and maybe respray it in the future, but I haven't got the funds at the moment to fully respray the bumper, so this is just going to have to do for the time being. Okay, so I've applied the touch-up paint, and as you can see, you can still see where the marks were, but it's not as obvious. And yes, I know it doesn't look amazing, it doesn't, but it's better than exposed black bumper. I've left this little nick here because that's going to be in quite an obvious place, and I feel that if I try and attack that with touch-up paint it might be more obvious. So I think it's just easier just to leave that alone there, and it's not the end of the world, it's only a small scratch. I'm just going to wait for that to dry, and then our next stage will be taking this grill out. Excuse a little ghetto setup to try and avoid the bumper getting scratched up, but I have the centre grill out. It's just held in by these little clips here, and the bottom ones, these clips, and there's some little plastic retaining thing at the bottom of it. This is our grill, and as you can see, the main issue here is it's spotted with all sorts. It looks like somebody's either been spraying, or I don't know how they've even managed that, but now our job is to sand it down, and then start priming, painting, and then some lacquer on top of it. I'm just sanding the grill down here, prepping it for its first coat of primer, and I've noticed with the backing bit that I've taken off, it looks like somebody's tried to spray this before, presumably some sort of white, but yeah, they haven't dismantled the grill correctly, so you've got quite a bit of overspray here. So I'm going to be cleaning this up, and this is going fully black as well. So luckily I've had some of this grey plastic primer spare from when I did the bumpers on Dennis and when I did the little Tykes car for my daughter, and we've put our first coat of this on, and then we I think we'll leave this, smooth it down with some fine sandpaper, even though it says to leave it 24 hours before using sandpaper, but the thing is, after we've done the sandpaper, just take off the rough edges, we're then going to come back and put another coat on, and then we're going to let it dry for 24 hours. And then we can apply paint a bit later on. I'm that dedicated to getting this bumper back together this morning. I've literally just got up, not had a coffee or breakfast or anything, just come straight in the garage, because I want to make a start on assembling this. So this is the moment I've been waiting for the past few days. See how this bad boy's going to look when it's fully assembled with all the painted bits on. So let's get on it and have a look. Wow, I've got to say, on all the spray painting I've ever done, I think this is the best I've ever managed to do with paint. And a little thing I've been keeping quiet throughout the video is the paint I used is actually black caliper paint. I was unsure how it would go, so that's why I didn't really mention it in the first stages, but it's turned out really nice. And the main reason I use caliper paint is because I literally had no plastic paint and I've blown all my budget on this bumper. So yeah, I'm not even getting the brackets for it yet because I can't afford it till in a bit. But my god, this looks insane compared to what it was like. You know, you got to think like all of that was all scuffed and black. Granted, it's still visible, but it's not as bad. And then here you had like overspray bits, and here where the previous person or the person before that's tried spraying it. It just looks unreal. Okay, so today is the day that we're going to be fitting the bumper because I finally got these brackets through. I was on a bit of a tight budget and I was going to wait a bit longer, but I couldn't wait. And these brackets are the ones that go into here. So the bumper slots in like that on the sides, and then this bolts to the car. And the issue is, the reason I've had to get these is because on the stock bumper brackets, they're smaller and don't fit in there at all really. So these are the M Sport brackets. We're gonna have to get the bumper off, unconnect the fog lights and the horn, because that's what's in here, and then detach the old bumper. So as you can see, we have the bumper off, and now I can show you what I was talking about with these clips. Now this, in comparison to this, you can see what we're up against. So without further ado, this will go on the other side, but we need to change these out. Okay, so that is the adapter brackets on. We'll see how it goes. They look a bit weird, but yeah, we'll see how it goes. Obviously, I'm not really going to show putting the bumper on because it's going to be a bit of a faff. So to save your time, basically, you've just got to plug in your horn there, then your fog lights on both sides, and should be happy at that. Okay, so just as I thought we were getting somewhere, we have an issue, and that is the connectors for the fog lights are different. So this one is off my old bumper, and you can see the connection there. This one is off my new bumper, and you can see the prongs are spread apart quite a bit. So I'm going to ask on the forums and see if anybody can point me in the right direction. But I think for the meantime, we'll just leave the fog lights disconnected. I suspect you might have to either get a conversion kit or you might have to wire in a new plug for it. But we'll just have to wait and see. I've tried putting this fog light in the slot and it doesn't fit, so there's not a lot else I can do. So that is it. New M Sport bumper on. Only issue is, if you can see here, this gap, it's like sagging down a bit, and it's a nightmare to get the brackets to do what I want them to do. At least it's even, but yeah, there seems to, and there's still a bit of, I don't know, there is a bit of play here and there in the bumper, even though I've tightened everything up, and obviously I haven't connected the fog lights. But yeah, overall I'm quite happy with it. Right then guys, so that is it for fitting my new M Sport bumper. I'm quite happy with it. It was a bit fiddly in places because obviously it's alright having the new brackets, but on top of that there is a bit of plastic on the wing at the bottom that you have to remove from the standard bumper in order for it to fit flush and properly. If you search on YouTube, there is another guy who fit the bumper and he goes through all of that. Obviously this isn't really a how-to, this is just a sort of join me along for the ride sort of video. But that is it anyway for this video. If you did like it, please don't forget to like, subscribe, maybe even hit that bell icon for notifications on future uploads. But until the next time, peace.